Welcome all true believers listening. Today at the Bugle radio station, we have decided to launch a brand new audio series titled The Amazing Adventures of Captain America, based on the true stories of American hero Steve Rogers. May he rest in peace.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. It is led to a fight and a duel is due, and the red and the white and the blue will come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
A young man stands in front of a mirror, looking at his reflection disappointed. His mother used to tell him, you won't always be able to choose your own battles, but you're going to need to make an effort to choose the ones that matter. He always wanted to live by those words, and yet that proved to be quite hard. The biggest and scariest war of all time was taking place at that time, and he would do anything to fight in it, on the good side that is. But even with his courage, even with his heart of gold, the army refused to accept him for his lack of physical capabilities. "If only I got the training I need," he squealed, sitting down on the bed of his small apartment. A knock on the door made him jump up though, and after walking toward it and opening it, he was left with raised eyebrows, as standing in front of him was a small kid. "Hello there, sir," the kid proclaimed, holding a piece of paper and pen in his hand. "Would you be interested in joining the military morale program?" "Well, yes, of course. I'll do anything to help," he said, smiling. The kid, happy he had done this job for the day, handed him the pen and the paper. The piece of parchment read, "Do you hereby accept the invitation to the military morale program as an entertainer for the men of the American Army?" "Sounds reasonable to me," Steve proclaimed, signing the paper. The next day he had woken up feeling refreshed as ever, but even with all that energy, he felt a little uneasy. Perhaps it was because he was given no instructions as to where he was supposed to go, if he was supposed to go somewhere. He only gave them his name after all. Suddenly, though, a ringing sound coming from the corner of the room could be heard. Steve ran to the telephone, picking it up. "Hello, this is Steve Rogers." "Yes, hello, this is Agent Carter. I have you on our list of people who signed up for our program, is that correct?" "Yes, it is." Good, because it seems that you are the only ones here. Well, I'm not the strongest person ever, but I thought I should help somehow. I'm very glad to hear that, Rogers. Anyway, you have read the terms and conditions, right? Well, they were rather small, but from what I was able to read, it said I'd be an entertainer. Indeed, we are going to perform to raise the morale of our fellow soldiers, along with our youth camp representative, James Barnes. Is that? Probably so, yes. Anyway, we will send a letter to you about the details and such. I'm rather excited to meet you, Rogers. He heard the phone hang up on the other side, and so he decided to get somehow ready, even though he wasn't sure what for yet. He returned to his mirror in the middle of the room, and tried to imagine an audience in front of him, telling jokes from his favorite books. It felt like weeks had passed since receiving the phone call, and there was no letter to be seen. "Maybe they have forgotten about me," he thought. "Maybe the soldiers' morale is already strong enough." Before he could tell himself another lie, though, he heard honking outside of his window, for he lived on the lowest floor of the building. Steve got to the window and opened it, being met with a head poking out of a car. "I thought about it," Peggy Carter said, "and I think this will be easier than sending a letter." The ride was rather quiet, as Steve didn't engage in a lot of social interaction after his mother had passed away. It didn't help that he would have to stand in front of hundreds of people in a few minutes, but not only did he know there was no backing out now, he simply didn't want to back out. After what seemed like hours, the car finally stopped and Steve was woken up by Agent Carter smashing the doors, leaving the car. Soon enough, he followed her, going through an assembly of military dome tents. Finally, the pair got to a wooden podium with a huge plank serving as the wall for the backstage. Steve took the few steps there, seeing a blue, white, and red suit, along with a shield on the ground. "So I know this may look weird." "No, it's alright, I get it. I like the idea." He picked up the shield, noticing notes on the backside of it from the ones that wore it before. "Don't look directly at the audience," one of them said. "If they yell at you to get off, get off. Never talk for too long. Let the ladies do their thing." Steve raised an eyebrow. "The ladies?" "Oh yes, women are gonna be included." "So then, it might be a little late to ask, but what am I supposed to do?" "Right. The ladies, as you said, are going to be the main performers. You come in once in a while when they stop singing and say one of these quotes, whichever you like the best." "Okay, should be easy enough. And the kid?" He looked over to a second costume, similar to his, though much more simplistic and maskless. "Well, while you two are technically working together, you are assigned to different groups. Yours is a little more aggressive, but don't take it personally." "Of course. So, when do I start?" After a few minutes of putting on the suit and noticing it did not fit at all, he heard another car coming up. It then stopped and 3 women came out of it, and after a while, James Barnes did too. He could see the army men leaving their tents and sitting down on the chairs facing the stage. He also noticed that alongside Carter sat an older gentleman wearing a suit covered by a white coat. Taking a deep breath, he waddled in front of them, along with the dancers. The silence was almost piercing. That is, until everybody started screaming, unsure of what to do. Where did this all come from? The soldiers rather unexpectedly ran away back to their tents to hide. Agent Carter was calling for backup, but another attacked aircraft was approaching, and so Steve leaped from the stage and pushed Carter and the professor next to her to the ground, just as the aircraft shot its bullets. While the 2 managed to get saved, Rogers wasn't so lucky. "Steve! Steve, wake up!" Peggy screamed, but it was to no use as he had fainted. "Did it work?" "Well, I mean, look at him. Just because it gave him biceps twice the size of my head doesn't mean it actually kept him alive." What's happening?" Steve finally woke up, feeling sweat all over his body. Okay, before you look down, this was the only way to keep you alive, as the bullet wound, well, and, he blinked a few times to adjust to the bright light staring into his face, and then, looking down, he's met with what looked like mountains. There he is! The professor Steve saw earlier suddenly arrived to the scene. "Hello, Steve, or should I say, Captain America."
When Captain America throws his mighty shield